The air is a little bit cleaner and the day is a little bit brighter. We can all sleep easy knowing that Trump finally won. After months and months and months of going back and forth with Joe Biden and then Kamala Harris and then this and then that and then the attempted assassination and then the second attempted assassination and then him getting a mug shot taken of him and then him working at McDonald's and then him working as a trash collector. This has been the most wild ride ever. This has been the most wild presidency and the most wild 4 years of my whole entire life. This is now the second time that Trump defeated a woman who was supposed to be the progressive choice. This means that the left can stop talking about trying to be the first of a certain progressive class, right? No, I'm wrong. They will keep on trying and trying and trying and trying over and over and over again to force their candidate that checks the most progressive boxes every single time. They will not take no for an answer. With Obama, they had the first black president, and ever since then, they tried to find the first of something or someone else. With Hilary Clinton in 2016, she was going to be the first woman being president, and now they needed somebody that checks two boxes, not just being a woman, but also a woman that is black. That was Kamala Harris, which both of them has been defeated by the same exact person, that is Donald J. Trump, President Trump, and future President Trump. Wow. It makes me wonder if the Democrats would have kept Joe Biden, would they have had a better chance? Maybe. All I can say is that they should have taken what I said back in July, and they should have took a swallow and voted for Joe. But instead, they actually just gave this whole entire election to Trump by just forcing a candidate that won the primary out of the election season and hoisting their own candidate, which was Kamala Harris. Trump walked away with 277 electoral votes and 71 million votes, while Kamala Harris walked away with 224 electoral votes and 66 million votes as of right now. This is very huge. Not only did Trump win the electoral vote, but he also won the popular vote. This is why as soon as I saw that Trump had around 250 electoral votes, that was around 2 a.m., I could not sleep. Certified eye bags to prove it. I am so happy and excited for what is to come in the future that I could not fall asleep. All that I can say is that I cannot wait until January so we can get this thing on the road and we can get Trump to start implementing the policies that he talked about. And I cannot wait for Elon Musk to head the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE. And I cannot wait for RFK Jr. to make his findings about vaccines more public. And I cannot wait for him to start revealing all of the policies that he has behind the scenes. Like, first and foremost, getting rid of fluoride in public water supply system. Fluoride is just disgusting. Every single time you go to the dentist, they always give you fluoride-filled toothpaste and fluoride-filled this. They push fluoride like it's the next apple pie or the next Apple product. They push this thing all the time. But in reality, I don't trust fluoride. Fluoride does not, you don't need to have fluoride to get white teeth. And fluoride has other side effects. And now they say, oh, well, fluoride only has side effects if you take a lot of it or if you swallow a lot of it. But they load fluoride onto your teeth when you're done with the dentist. When they're done doing regular cleaning, they load fluoride into your mouth and they tell you not to eat or drink anything sticky or hot for the next 30 minutes. That's so it can seep into your mouth. But if you do drink a lot of water, like if you go to the gym and you need to drink a lot of water or what have you, you end up drinking a lot of the fluoride, you just get sick. I got a headache the last time that they did it. Now I request for them to not use anything fluoride related, because I'm very good with that. I took fluoride out of my life years and years ago, and I never turned back. It's not like there's not good solutions that are fluoride free. There's plenty of solutions. You just have to look for them. They're at Walmart, they're at Target, they're on Amazon, they're widely available. Just look for them. Fluoride free stuff is not something to be scared of. With that being said, we're going to be digging into all of this right now.
Facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
Digging right in, we actually have a Daily Wire article. We have Donald Trump defeats Kamala Harris and wins back the White House. So, former President Donald Trump won the 2024 presidential election, completing what is likely to be the biggest political comeback in American history. Despite suggestions that the race would be incredibly close, Trump took off with an early lead, quickly winning majorities in key swing states of Georgia and North Carolina, and showing early dominance in Pennsylvania. When the race was called at just past 1 a.m. on the East Coast, Trump had won 3 of the 7 swing states, Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, putting him at 270 electoral votes. He is set to take the stage at the election night party early morning on Wednesday. Campaign officials and advisors celebrated Trump's victory late into the night on Tuesday and early Wednesday morning in West Palm Beach, Florida, at an election night party for the former and future president. Trump, who won the 2016 presidential race, will return to the White House after a 4-year absence, and Joe Biden will, after Harris and President Biden won in 2020. So now this is his second non-consecutive second term. 4 years, critics on the right protested that Biden's mental acuity made him unfit to serve as president. I could not agree more. I agree with this. We talked about this in the debate between Joe Biden and Trump. It was just a funny debate because Joe Biden has no idea what he's talking about whatsoever. And it's just so disgusting seeing him still be president till today. He has no idea what he's doing. For the next 2 months, what is he going to be doing? What is Joe Biden going to be doing for the next 2 months? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the whole entire world knows that if they act now, they will not get as much repercussions as they will get under Trump. So if anything's going to happen around the world, through our enemies, or China trying to take over Taiwan, or Russia unleashing this or that and this and that, anything happening abroad is going to happen right this second, because they know that Trump will not put up with this for a damn minute or a second or a millisecond. He will not put up with this at all. That's the point here. That's exactly why they will act now. And it's a very, very high probability of this actually happening. This is what the scary part is. Harris accepted Trump's victory in remarks made late Tuesday night, expressing deep disappointment that her party would not take the White House, and warning that, as she has throughout the election cycle, that Trump will bring fascism to the United States, which is not true. He only has 1 term left to actually serve, so he cannot be in there the second time. It just doesn't make any sense. The presidential election cycle has been one of the most aggressive in American history. Trump faced not 1, but 2 assassination attempts, exactly what I was saying, and was shot in the ear by an assassin who was nearly missed the president's head. In a tense moment, the bloodied Trump fell to the ground as Secret Service drove to protect him, and then he rose in a historic viral moment, defiantly shocked his fist to the crowd, shouting, "Fight, fight, fight." Trump supporters saw the moment as a show of strength and a refusal to give in to the political prosecution. Trump ran on the platform that promised to make America great again, and he promised to seal the border and stop the immigration crisis by carrying out the largest deportation operation in American history. He promises to make America more affordable again by ending the inflation Americans have seen throughout the Biden administration. He's also promised to make America the dominant energy producer in the world, to turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower, to cut taxes on tips for workers, clean up American cities, strengthen and modernize the military, and more. The next president similarly promises to defend the Constitution and the fundamental American freedoms, such as the freedom of speech and the religion and the right to keep and bear arms, and more. He promises to cut federal funding for any school pushing radical ideology, whether sexual, racial, or political, upon children, and to keep men out of women's sports. I completely agree with that. Trump also has vowed to prevent another world war, to restore peace in both Europe and the Middle East, and to deport pro-Hamas radicals active on American campuses. He promises to secure American elections and to end the weaponization of the government against the United States citizens. His campaign platform final promise is to unite our country by bringing it to new and record levels of success. Republicans also took back control of the Senate, clinching at least 51 seats. So now, as for right now, if we were to look at this, we would see that Trump not only won the presidential election, but what also happened here is that we also won Congress. But let me just see here. I just want to make sure I'm up to date. Okay, yeah. So you can see that we took the Senate by 52 to 42. We won the presidency by 277 to 224, but the House of Representatives is still being counted. You can see that Republicans have 197 Republicans as for right now, and Democrats have 177, we can see that there's some states that are leading. They have not finished counting in a lot of these states here. Yeah, so there's a lot of states that they have not finished counting, and the results are just coming in. We're still waiting for California, Oregon, Nebraska. We're still waiting for Arizona, Michigan. We're looking for New York, Colorado, Maine, Ohio, New Jersey, Washington, and North Carolina. So many different states are still counting. So yeah, we'll keep you up to date on exactly what happens here. The poly market odds have been fluctuating all throughout the day. There was a point at which there was a 99% chance on poly market odds that Trump would win the election and a 1% chance of Kamala winning the election. I'm so glad that this actually came to fruition, because all the people that voted really early, it was like a 50-50 chance, you're getting a payday. Quite literally, you're getting a payday. And all the people that were putting money in yesterday just to get $4, $4 is $4. I was gonna do that somewhat. It was a 100% chance anyway, because at that point it was a 99% chance. There's no way. I was doing the calculations. There was no way Kamala Harris can actually bounce back from that. At the point that I was looking at, it was around like 12 o'clock at night. I was doing the calculations. I was like, no, there's no way that Kamala Harris is gonna win. And yeah, that's exactly true. And yeah, I mean, of course, if you were to re-look at the presidency too, what is the most pathetic thing about all of this is that Arizona only has 60% of the votes counted. Nevada is the same situation, only 84% of the votes counted. So why are so many states taking so long to count the ballots? It just does not make any sense whatsoever. Why? Of course, Georgia was flipped last year. Georgia actually voted for Kamala Harris. Now it's for Trump. That is flipped. Again, Wisconsin was also flipped. Pennsylvania was also flipped. And I think that's about it for flipping. I know that Alaska has now voted for Trump. We're going to be keeping an eye on this too. There's so many different states that are still counting, like Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Alaska are still counting. That's going to be most likely for Trump, so that's going to bring Trump's votes up. That's going to be 290 with Michigan, 311 or 301 with Arizona, I believe, 300. Yeah, this is just going to be a blowout. If all of these states that are still counting right now actually still go to Trump by the end of the counting process, Trump has blown Kamala Harris out of the water by getting 100 more electoral votes than Kamala, which would be a very impressive number. And it's just so funny too, because Kamala Harris is like, I will beat him in a blessed day in the morning. And it's all of this fake stuff. And now you lost to him. You lost to the guy that you have been talking poo-poo about the last couple of months. And it just makes you look like a clown. It really does. It's such an embarrassment on Kamala Harris's point. It's such an embarrassment on the Democratic point because of the fact that they ousted Joe Biden for Kamala Harris. And it's just so funny to see. It's so hilarious. I was taking my dogs for a walk this morning, and I could not stop smiling and laughing the whole entire time, listening to podcasts from yesterday, going through all this, because I just felt a sense of relief that Trump is now going to be back in the White House. I'm just so glad that everything panned out. I really am. God is really with this country. It really is. And speaking of God, Trump says that God spared his life for a reason, and Trump promises American golden age in victory speech. So, former President Donald Trump declared that a golden age of America will be ushered in after he was projected to defeat Vice President Kamala Harris and take back the White House early Wednesday morning. Trump, who picked up wins in the battleground states Georgia, North Carolina, Nevada, Pennsylvania, spoke to supporters in West Palm Beach, Florida, promising to enact common sense policies as president. Trump also touted GOP victories down the ballot as the GOP clinched control of the Senate, getting at least a 51-49 majority. America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate, Trump said. This will forever be remembered as the day that American people regained control of their country. Trump added that his supporters had achieved the most incredible political thing, promising to increase energy production, secure the border, and pursue peace in foreign policy. During his speech, Trump thanked his family and a diverse group of high-profile supporters, including UFC CEO Dana White, podcast host Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, pro golfer Bryson DeChambeau, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason, and the reason was to save our country and to restore America to greatness, Trump said, referring to his near assassination in Butler, Pennsylvania, where a bullet struck his ear, and now we're going to fulfill that mission together. I will fight for you, for your family, and your future every single day, he added. I will be fighting for you with every single breath of my body. I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. During his speech, Trump praised his running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, and spoke briefly about the crowd at West Palm Beach. We just witnessed the greatest political comeback in the history of the United States of America, he said. I completely agree with that. Like I said, I cannot wait to see the policies that he actually implements, and I cannot wait to see him come back into the White House. From now until January, I will be just sitting here saying, oh, can we just make the time go by faster? Like, please, we just want the time to go by faster with every single day that goes by. Inauguration Day is going to be early January. So if we were to take a look at this calendar here, it doesn't actually say it. Okay, so let's see here for Inauguration Day. So when is inauguration? Okay, so if we were to look at the Inauguration Day, it is January 20th, and it falls on a Sunday. Oh, okay, it's going to be January 21st. Yeah. Okay, so January 21st or the 20th. Yeah, okay. So it's going to be the 20th because that is a Monday. Yep. So we're going to have exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more weeks for the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's presidency until we get to kick them out of the White House for once and for all, because of the fact that we do not want to deal with this whatsoever. We do not want to deal with this anymore. So, with that being said, we're going to be digging into the headlines of the week. So, digging right in, we actually have 2024's biggest loser is the corporate media industrial complex, which is always a loser because Kamala Harris was the product of the mainstream media, and the mainstream media does not have the pull like they used to. Good. In the early hours of Wednesday morning, legacy news networks were already sliding toward 2016 levels of melting down about the increasingly definite prospect of the presidential victory by Donald J. Trump. For them, Harris's stunning defeat is personal, just as much of a defeat for them as it is for her. The corporate media industrial complex has spent Donald Trump's entire political career trying to destroy him. Hand in hand with triple-letter government agencies and Democrats, they run a hoax painting Trump as a Russian stooge behind on ridiculous rumors commissioned by his opponent's campaign in 2016. They continued to spread the lie for the duration of his presidency, awarding each of other Pulitzers for it, and they've only ramped up the efforts since then. The problem is that they're racketeering with tonight in this. Those efforts didn't work. They're no longer able to control Americans by controlling their information intake because their credibility is farther deep sixth than the Clinton family's enemy list. A TV executive anonymously fretted last week that if half of the country has decided that Trump is qualified to be president, that means that they're not reading any of the media. They've lost the audience completely. A Trump victory means mainstream media is dead on its current form. Even before the election results were in, that was true of the corporate press. Jeff Bezos knew it when he reportedly ordered the Washington Post to withhold an endorsement of Harris, but now they can't avoid it. Since the presidential election, the media has screamed increasingly about Trump inciting an insurrection at the Capitol on January 6, 2021. They made documentaries comparing Trump to the Ku Klux Klan. They portrayed Trump as the ringleader of the terrorist attack and not a president who gave a speech and urged his supporters to protest peacefully, in which he did. Tuesday's night's results were a resounding indication that Americans did not buy it and they do not trust the mainstream media. I completely agree with this article 100%. The mainstream media is dead and they are scared through their pants. They're pooping themselves. Number one, they always poop themselves anyway, but they're pooping themselves even more now. And because of the fact that they have nothing else. They have nothing. They don't have any mainstream media, social media sites anymore, because not only did Meta come out and say that they're not going to be censoring as much as they did, they're also implementing kind of the same policies as Elon Musk in the viewer or readers added context to this. So not only are they not fact checking through third party sources, but they're doing it through viewers, and they have to get accepted, just like how X does it. So not only that, but also you can see that there has been less of a crackdown on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. So you can actually see more information. So it's very interesting seeing the context here. I mean, the contrast here between 2020 and now. In the mainstream media doesn't even know what to do with themselves, because the mainstream media had the power for so long that they could just say, do this and do that, and then it actually happens. That they don't even know what to do if it doesn't come to fruition, because Kamala Harris was the ultimate experiment. If the media could actually come up with a person out of thin air and just trying to make them, the person that they chose, the next big thing. And it failed, and it failed bad. And they hit the wall, and they hit the wall hard. And they finally found out that the mainstream media does not have the same pull as it once did. And it's very scary for Democrats and the media together. With help from the debunked story planted by The Atlantic, the media made Trump out to be a fascist and routinely compared him to Hitler. When Trump held a gunbusters rally in Madison Square Garden, they screeched that he had his supporters were obviously Nazis because they gathered at the same venue that Nazi sympathizers once rented, along with Frank Sinatra, the Rolling Stones, Elton John, Billy Joel, Beyonce, Bill Clinton, and Jimmy Carter, and probably millions of other people. They called him a threat to democracy and said that he would be a dictator on day one. That didn't work either. Americans saw that Russia collusion hoax fell apart. They saw that Trump governed for 4 years and peacefully transferred the power to Joe Biden without fulfilling their authoritarian predictions. When COVID mania broke out in 2020, they saw it as the media and their big tech allies religiously shut down true information and spread lies about the virus's origins, Democrats' lockdowns, mask mandates, and forced vaccines, to name a few. They watched the same thing unfold when the media insisted that the Biden influence peddling scandal was Russian disinformation right before the 2020 election. And as the media kept screaming about Trump being a, quote, threat, Americans saw him handing out French fries, sweeping jokes in family, with his family, and other people that are his favorite podcasters, talking about how much he loves America. Speaking of podcasts, Trump's interview with hosts Joe Rogan garnered a whopping 2/3 of the views of the presidential debate, hosted by ABC. Yeah, of course, because I didn't even watch the ABC News debate. Yeah, exactly, because just with Joe Rogan alone garnered the amount of views that the mainstream media has. So the mainstream media, nobody's watching it anymore. The less Americans brought their lies, the more the media piled on the rhetoric but that isn't working anymore. Instead, the more manically the media amped up their attacks, the less they appeared to be sticking. If the past 8 years and the first few hours of the COPE streaming from TV Wednesday morning are any indication, the legacy press isn't planning on repentance. They feel obligated to represent Americans. They feel entitled to control them. The less they control, the loss of control is making them go crazy. Kamala Harris is only the second biggest loser of all time. Her media shills are still nursing wounds that will take far longer to recover from. After all, they were always the ones fighting for the hardest to bring Trump down. And after 8 years of it, they're sculling away weaker and more humiliated than ever before. And I completely agree with that, because now they have absolutely no pull. Speaking of having absolutely no pull, this election official in Wisconsin is now ordered to follow the law. Oh my goodness, you have to follow the law? Almost like it is the law. This is a Federalist article. Swing State, Wisconsin's most notorious elections clerk, repeatedly failed to follow election integrity laws. Now, on the eve of Election Day, the state's elections regulator is ordering Green Bay clerk to comply. The Wisconsin Elections Commission sent a letter to Jeffries late last week after finally dealing with a complaint filed by the Public Interest Legal Fund, PILF, on behalf of the Green Bay residents. According to the complaint, the clerk did not comply with procedures for auditing voters who registered to vote of their polling places on Election Day for 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. which is just crazy. In short, as a detailed further in the analysis below, the commission finds that the complaint did show probable cause to believe that a violation of the law or abuse of discretion occurred with the relation to the clerk Jeffrey's procedural actions. The WEC order states the PILF filed the complaint in April, but the commission is just getting around to issuing its decision in order. A lack of awareness. So will Jeffries face any discipline? Not so much. Of course, this is exactly what happens if you're of the left. You get slapped on the wrist, and that's all that you get. It doesn't even matter to them whether you do the job, whether you don't do the job. If you enforce the policies that they have already on the laws or you don't, they don't really care whatsoever. As long as you're doing their bidding at the end of the day, that's all that they care about. So, with that being said, we're going to end off this episode right here. I'm really, really excited, like I said, about the future of this country. This just makes me want to just go outside and say, relief has finally came. So, with that being said, I cannot wait for January. Like I said, I'm going to be anticipating it in my head, and I'm not going to be able to sleep the day before Inauguration Day. I'm going to be so excited. Not only am I going to be gone and going on a trip that week anyway, but not only that, but also the inauguration for Donald Trump is the most exciting thing because now it's the second time I can see him get inaugurated. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening, and I hope they have a great rest of your day. Bye.